This is Andrea Wayward, and today we're going to talk about breakups. This subject has been on my mind for a very, very long time, and I think it's time that I talk about it because there has gone a lot in my mind and in my life that I feel like it's necessary to actually talk about it now because I need a way to cope, and my ways to cope usually don't end very well, so I'm going to try this method out and start vlogging and whatnot, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to take a little pauses and drink out of my soda. Don't worry, it's not cough syrup, it's just regular Dr. Pepper. Anyway, as I was saying, breakups. We all go through them, middle school, elementary, and high school, and college, or even more than that. And it's a very tough thing to handle, especially if you were in a serious relationship. I was in a serious relationship for like quite a while, and it ended up very, very bad. The reason why it ended it very bad is because I decided to put it on myself to stay with that person, even though they clearly did not want me. Because, first of all, I was being selfish, and I understand that I was being selfish. And sometimes we do that. Not necessarily girls, but guys also. Like, sometimes we love someone so much that we can't physically process them not being in our lives. Or sometimes we just get really used to them being in our day-to-day basis, and it feels weird not having them there. I'm just going to be very blunt and honest. I really did mess up in my relationship. I'm not going to say how, but I really did, and I understand that. I can admit that. And the first thing of getting better once a breakup is over is analyzing why the breakup happened. Like, you can't, for example, you can't cheat on the person in the relationship and then breaking up with you and be like, why did they break up with me? Oh, it's obvious you cheated. And sometimes we don't like the outcomes. We don't like the consequences that we have to be taken as we choose our paths in the relationship. Sometimes we do mess up, and I won't judge anyone, and I hope no one judges me, because I have no room to talk, and I don't think people have room to talk. I mean, we've all been through really bad or good relationships, just depending. There's always going to be those ups and downs, and most of all, the most hardest thing for me was going through the process, not going through the process because I'm in the process as we're speaking of getting over that person that I cared about, but beginning the process. That, I have to say, is the most hardest thing you will ever have to deal with. You, in your mind, even after the breakup happens, you still picture them there. You still want them. In your mind, you're still dating. I mean, that's going to go on for a week or two. Well, that happened to me. I was like, oh, maybe he still loves me. Maybe we're going to get back together. The best thing to do is just don't remember those good times. Don't. Ever. Because if you remember those good times, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I miss him. I want to be with him, or I want to be with her. Oh my gosh, I miss her. Don't think about that. Think about, I don't want to say negatives, but I'm going to have to say negatives. Because if you think about the positives, then you're going to just rewind yourself in misery. You're going to be like a broken record, just going and going and going and just clinging on to something that's not even there. Just remember about all the bad things they did to you. I mean, that sounds horrible, but it's the only thing that I see can actually help. Think about how they treated you, how they did stuff to you. I mean, I personally, at the very end of the breakup, I was going through a lot with this person. And I mean, he treated me badly, and I could see why he treated me badly, but still, you don't need to treat a human like an animal, but it happens. I mean, we all make mistakes. I'm not like, oh, I hate you, I never want to talk to you again. Because it would be nice to have him as a friend later on, or more, just depends. Don't try to be friends with your exes unless you know it's gonna happen. Like, for example, if you were friends and then you dated, but it wasn't serious, it was just like, oh, whatever, we're just dating, and then you break up, and then you're like, oh yeah, you want to be friends? Definitely, that's fine, that's completely fine. But if you're in a long-term relationship and it was extremely serious and you break up, do not be friends. Dear God, do not be friends, because you will hate yourself, because you're going to be stuck in the friend zone, and oh my gosh, we all hate the friend zone. The friend zone is when you're like, hey, I like you, and I like you too, but I don't know if I like these feelings about you, so we're just going to be best friends, promise. Don't do that, please, don't do that, because you're going to set yourself for a world of hurt, because like, you're going to be stuck as the best friend. And then that person's going to trust you enough to tell you about the other people they're dating, and secretly you might still be loving them, and you're just thinking, oh God, why me? So I would say cut off all connections, and yeah, I should give you some tips about breaking up, because we all need tips of breaking up. If you are a male or female, and you're going to break up with your significant other, I would advise you to be aware that the fact that they might go bananas on you, because I was the obsessive, crazy ex-girlfriend for a while, and then I was like, you will not leave me, but then come to find out that he's not really worth my time if he's not gonna be there for me. Like, if he's not gonna be there for your best, well, the worst, if he's not going to be there for your worst, then why is he going to be there for your best? And that goes for girls too. I mean, if she's not going to be there for your worst, why even bother? So yeah, like, we broke up several times, and we got back to several times because of me. Like, I'm not going to lie, it was because of me, because I was like, you will not break up with me. Just because you break up with me doesn't mean I break up with you. And that's how I was. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty obsessive, but I had to face the fact that he wanted to leave. I can't make him stay with me. So, anyways, what I was trying to say basically is breakups. Like I said before, try to get over them. It's the hardest thing to start it, but you know, sooner or later that person might come back to you, and they might not. But you just have to keep living on. There's no point whatsoever to stop your life for someone else, because you have so much potential, and you shouldn't be wasting on someone who clearly doesn't understand how much you're waiting on them or how much you care about them. So why spoil the gift? Give it to someone who actually deserves it and wants it. So those are my opinions. Whatever comments, questions, please leave below. I would really love your input. I'm gonna start blogging and stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoy.